Venusaur so far ahead in energy, looking primed to sweep. The opponent sends out Wish Daddy Cash, sacrificing it to their Pokegods. Back out comes Medicham, but Venusaur with so much energy. Boston gonna shield up the incoming Ice Punch. And if you're a returning subscriber, you'll know the drill. The first Frenzy Plant will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield, and the second Frenzy Plant is going to be all she wrote. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while. It's actually been around 1 week since I last uploaded. That is for two reasons. Firstly, my home got severely damaged by a storm, so I've been busy trying to sort that. And secondly, we have a Team Rocket takeover. This event has gave us some of the best shadows we've seen in a long time, and I'm pleased to tell you after a solid 4-day grind I've pretty much got everything that I could possibly need, so in the coming months you're going to be seeing that fire shadow content. However, as always, we've got distracted, so let's talk about today's video. My favourite battler in the entire world, XBOSTON. He has the most ridiculous collection of shadow Pokemon. He's got over 500 battle ready shadows. I thought I had a lot, but Boston is just next level. He's going to bring us today his 17 game win streak, where he was able to gain 450 ELO in 2 singular days. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we lead Boston's signature Pokemon, Shadow Probopass, aka Mr. Potato Head, into Swampert. That is dreadful. However, Probopass and Venusaur form a pretty solid core, and we're going to be utilising this Sableye. The opponent gives us a huge energy lead, and Boston will be looking to take back Switch at all costs. He commits a huge shield on the Thunderbolt, and Boston is going straight foul play all the way. If the opponent give up on Switch, this could be G to the G's, as Swampert wants no part of our Venusaur. We see Boston invest that final Protect Shield, commit to the full Shadow Claw farm down, and just like that, Switch advantage is ours. Back out comes Swampert, and Swampert's going to look to dump energy. Hydro Cannon, of course, going to be massive overkill, and hi Swampert, meet Venusaur. Swampert then pivots out into its partner in crime, Skarmory, and Switch advantage was everything, as Skarmory can do nothing against Mr. Potato Head. The opponent fires off the Sky Attack. Probopass says, "Is that all you've got, Boston?" Hugely over farms up near enough to the back-to-back Rock Slides. We even go for a cheeky undercharge. Rock Slide isn't lethal. Boston very heads up, looking to get Probopass as low as possible to try and prevent Swampert landing the Earthquake on our Venusaur. Boston eventually commits to the Rock Throw farm down. Back out comes Swampert. Venusaur wins the race, reaches the Frenzy Plant, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. And despite hard losing lead in battle number 1, Boston is off to a 1-0 start. Heading into their next battle, we got some Shadow and Shadow Crime. Probopass into Hypno. The opponent says no thank you and safe switch into their own Sableye. Looks like Boston very happy to stay in, as we can realign our own Sableye onto that Hypno. Boston tanks the foul play. This Rock Throw damage is absolutely oppressive. Sableye getting torn to shreds. Boston fires off the Rock Side, and we see the opponent invest that Protect Shield. Looking at Sableye's health, I think Boston's going to be able to shield once. Rock Throw farm down. Sableye's going to be 5 Shadow Claws off the next foul play, and Boston gets the perfect farm down. Much like in game number 1, Boston is keeping the correct alignment, as of course Venusaur is going to be very weak to the oppressive confusion damage, whereas Sableye is going to resist. We fire off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide gets Hypno down to around half health. We send out Sableye. The opponent then pivot out into Public Enemy number 1, that stupid brick wall, fucking Bastiodon, and we answer with Venusaur. When you're faced with a stupid brick wall, using a 2-turn move like we are with Vine Whip, you want to throw at 1, 4 and 7 all the way. Or I suppose you can throw on CMP like Boston has. I've got no idea how we've lost CMP. Niantic, as always, fix your fucking game. We're in Season 17 and it still runs like shit. Boston goes for the undercharge, recognising the opponent likely to save that Protect Shield. We get the Vine Whip farm down, back out. Comes Hypno, and Hypno is going to be giving up that shield on the Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant does force that final Protect Shield. We send out Sableye, reach the foul play. It's going to be high Hypno, bye Hypno. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle. What a lead. Potato Head into Skeledirge. The Crocodile says no thank you, and they safe switch into Whimsicott. Boston farms up, then stay in school kids, learn to count. Boston makes a savage Grass Knot catch onto Venusaur, where it's double resisted. Unless this Whimsicott is running a very spicy moveset of Hurricane, we have absolutely nothing to fear. Boston fires off the Sludge Bomb, forcing a Protect Shield. We see the instant no shield deployed. The opponent fires off the Moonblast, but that still doesn't get the job done. The opponent going to be unable to Fairy Wind farm us down. Boston fires off the Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant is resisted, but the opponent has committed all shields, and that's a CMP tie. The opponent probably thinking they need to flip switch, however, we've got not one answer for Skeledirge, but two. So switch advantage isn't really all that important to us. The opponent is going to reach one further neutral grass knot, but Potato Head, pretty tick. We do survive. We're now down below half health, however, Boston has residual energy and a 2-0 shield advantage. Oh baby, the opponent reveals their third, which is a bubble Jellicent Sableye. With a 2-0 shield advantage, just sweeps this backline Boston. Finally pivots into his Sableye, of course. We're going to have to respect the Shadow Ball. The opponent plays their win con, YOLO in the Shadow Ball. They then send out Skeledirge, sacrificing it to the Pokegods. Shadow Sableye hits like a truck. Skeledirge gets one shot vanquished. Back to their Pokeball, back out comes Jellicent, and the opponent's going to gracefully concede the match. GG's. In the next battle, we see Potato Head into the Angry Snowman. What a lead. The opponent sees we're on Rock Throw. You will notice the opponent did stay in to check the fast move, as if we're on Spark. That probably isn't the worst matchup for him. The opponent say switches into Wish Daddy Cash, and we answer with Venusaur. It looks like Boston's opting for the one shield and farm down, and we're probably going to double Sludge Bomb that poor Snowman. The Snowman's probably thinking, fuck my life, I've got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Boston going for a very risky bait. Frenzy Plant forces the Protect Shield. The opponent is going to be forced to double shield. A Sludge Bomb will be one shot in. The opponent does double shield and then commit to the full Powder Snow farm down again. Boston has managed to wriggle himself. Shield advantage. We send out Potato Head. Energy Ball's going to hit for neutral, but Potato Head far too thick. The opponent then pivots out into the silly electric fish, and this is just game over. Boston responds with Sableye, fires off the foul play, gets this fish below half health. Is it a fish? Is it a dolphin? I don't know, but it's a fucking basic bitch mon that everyone uses, and I really just get grated by its presence. Sableye unable to get the Shadow Claw farm down, however, it doesn't really matter to be honest. Surf isn't lethal. Boston looking for the Shadow Claw farm down, and we get it. We leave with the Power Gem, and it's going to be higher Bomber Snow, buy a Bomber Snow. Get fucking wrecked. GG's, and thanks for playing. Shadow Sableye's Rock-type coverage coming in clutch. In the next battle, we see another Skeledirge. The opponent saves switches into the Quagman, and Boston shows cat-like reflexes, pivoting into his Venusaur. You will notice this is a purified Quagman. Don't do that. That is absolute sacrilege. Shadow is always the way to go. The opponent running a very spicy moveset of Sludge Bomb. I personally recommend Mud Bomb and Stone Edge, but that is just my humble opinion. Although what isn't an opinion is Shadow Venusaur hits so incredibly hard. You can see that resisted Frenzy Plant does half of the Crocodile's HP. The opponent's now forced to shield up a resisted Frenzy Plant. Again, Boston has obtained himself shield advantage. We send back out Probopass. The opponent fires off the Shadow Ball. Potato Head withstands the damage. The opponent gives us the full Rock Throw farm down and reveal their third to be Clefable. Boston fires off the Rock Slide. Of course, Magnet Bomb would be super effective. The opponent actually no-shielded as well. Holy. Despite me being very offended by the opponent purifying a Quag, they've evidently got huge cojones no-shielding. Boston then sends out Sableye. This game's unlosable. We could shield this up, Shadow Claw farm down, let it go, Rock Throw farm down. Either way, it's going to be G to the G's. Moving on to the next one. Probopass into Dragonair. A lot of Dragonairs love to try and force alignment. However, this opponent is going to have a very tough time. As you can see, these Rock Throws tearing apart Dragonair. Aqua Tail isn't the best move. Despite being super effective, it just doesn't do enough damage to Probopass. We withstand the damage, return fire with the Rock Slide, securing the knockout. The opponent then sends out a Bubble Jellicent. If I was Boston, I would have liked to see the pivot into Sableye, as the opponent could potentially have a flyer that Probopass could handle in the back, but either way, we fire off the Rock Slide, forcing a Protect Shield. Boston can now align his Venusaur onto the Jellicent. The opponent is going to say fuck that and concede the match, and Boston is going to flex a very nice 5-0. Moving on to the next one. My, this Potato Head out here winning a lot of leads. Charger Bug opting to stay in as well. Are you serious, trainer? The only reason to stay in is if you have a flyer or something else weak to Probopass in the back. You can see Boston tanked the discharge, got the full Rock Throw farm down. Boston needs to pivot, as he needs to recognise the opponent likely has something else weak to Probopass in the back. Or maybe this team's just triple weak to Probopass. To send out a Poison Jab user into a Rock and Steel type is an interesting choice, as we triple resist Poison. Boston fires off 2 Rock Slides, and there finally is the pivot into Venusaur. Does Boston respect the Sludge Wave? He puts up a shield, the opponent full sends a Sludge Wave, then pivot out into Gligar. Boston farms up, throws the Frenzy Plant on the CMP tie, and this will be getting our shield back. I think Boston from here is in a pretty good spot. You just no-shield this, let Venusaur go down, Send out Potato Head, just rock throw away, try and put this thing into foul play range, and then Sableye should clean up. Boston did no shield the Venusaur, back out comes Potato Head, just force the opponent to throw the dig. I'd personally no shield this, however, it looks like Boston has other ideas. We get baited with the aerial ace, looks like Boston instead trying to force the opponent's final shield with the rock slide. The opponent does oblige, putting up that protect shield. We are now going to get outpaced to the dig, which is double super effective. And now Sableye is going to be tasked with no shields to clean up. Out comes Sableye. Boston just needs to be mindful of the opponent attempting to make a sacrificial swap. The opponent fires off the aerial ace. Aerial ace does around half our HP. Boston undertaps the foul play. Foul play lands on Gliscor, Toxapex through the Sludge Wave before exiting. So we're going to be able to outpace the foul play. Number 2, and long live Boston's win streak. GG's and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we lead Shadow Probopass into Wish Daddy Cash. Oof, tough. We're going to see the instant pivot into Sableye, and the opponent responds with the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Bird of Death. Boston is not baiting. Does the opponent respect the damage? No. That is harsh. I just wanted to see this Talonflame get knocked out of the sky. Boston opts not to fight for switch, knowing Talonflame with the boosted Incinerates is going to win switch. Instead, takes shield advantage, hopefully with Talonflame on the battlefield. This is Venusaur's biggest counter, although I have seen double fire and that is going to be tricky. Back out comes Potato Head, deleting Talonflame in the blink of an eye. Switch timer pops up and it is Shadow Venusaur time with a 2-to-1 shield advantage. The opponent's third is Medicham. We shield up the Ice Punch. This angry plant now looking prime to sweep Boston. Farms up to the double frenzy. The opponent sacrifices Wish Daddy Cash to the Pokegods, using it as the third shield, but no catch. We'll be saving this opponent's fate. Boston gonna shield up the next Ice Punch, and you know the drill by now. We're gonna farm up to the double frenzy plants. The first one will be forcing the opponent's final protect shield, and the second one is gonna be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. Shadow Venusaur proving to be an absolutely lethal closer in the Great League. Speaking of Venusaur, that is what we see in the lead. Boston throws one rock throw, pivots into Sableye, and I imagine we're instantly going to shield the incoming Frenzy Plant. We do see that shield deployed. His Frenzy Plant is a busted move. It's ridiculous. It does like 80% to Shadow Sableye. The opponent then sends out the Flying Toilet. This time Boston is going for the bait. We survived the Weather Ball, return fire with the foul play. I imagine Pelipper shields. They essentially shield everything. They do shield the first move. Boston on 1 HP and a dream. Reach the power gem. Come on. Please land. Please land. No. The opponent shields. I powered up my Shadow Sableye all the way back in like season 9. I was one of the first to power up and no one used to respect that rock type coverage. However, people have wised up to it. Boston actually finds himself in a pretty good spot with shield advantage. The opponent not wanting to get farmed down. Aggressively pivot into their own Sableye. Boston chips them with the rock slide. Rock slide gets them below half health. We then look to make a catch onto Venusaur. The opponent only going to reach one move, so I imagine we shield this up, commit to the Vine Whip farm down, and Venusaur is going to do Venusaur things. The opponent throws the foul play, however they don't reach another move. Boston just needs to be mindful of the opponent making a catch, however I don't think their time is going to be up. The opponent sends out Venusaur. We reach the Sludge Bomb. It's going to be high Venusaur, bye Venusaur. We're still out of Weather Ball range. The opponent is going to need to reach a Hurricane to secure the knockout. The opponent recognises that isn't going to happen. Just gracefully concede the match. In the next battle, we see Alolan Ninetales. What a beautiful lead. The opponent safe switches into Gliscor. This is a bit of a tricky Pokemon for us. So Boston looks to stay in. Oof, we thought we was going to call the bait there. Luckily we didn't, as the opponent full sends a dig, which is double super effective. We then overfarm too much, play to the CMP tile. We do not win. Shout out Home Size Henry for that quote. Boston tanks the dig, or I should say Probopass tanks it. Not particularly well. We do survive. We manage to force a shield back with the next rock slide. Boston can now send in Sableye. Sableye is going to get a Shadow Claw farm down. However, this opponent's gone straight dig all the way, and I have no doubt this is also going to be a dig. Shout out this opponent. They don't like to bait, and I respect it. Speaking of not baiting, can we sneak this Power Gem through a Protect Shield? No, we can't. Another Power Gem shielded. Boston pivots into Venusaur. The opponent sends out a Azumarill, then concede the match. Venusaur, far too good. Moving on to the next one. Great lead. The opponent save switches into a Fire type. Are you serious? The opponent doesn't even commit to anything more than a triple resisted Poison Fang. Boston, Rock Throw farms down the Salazzle. It was straight in and straight out. Probopass, smelling blood. Come on, trainer, show me something else weak. Oh, apparently that definitely isn't weak to Probopass. I think Boston should pivot. I've got no idea why we're throwing the Rock Side. Although, to be honest, Shadow and Shadow Crime, that still did some solid chip. As the switch time is a heavily misaligned, Boston sends out Sableye, anticipating the opponent pivoting when their switch timer pops up, which will mean Venusaur is going to get aligned against the Quag in the endgame. Boston forces a protection, the opponent does oblige, pivoting out into Mantine. Let's go, this is now just game over. Sableye throws the foul play gets his thing below half health. The opponent does look for the full wing attack farm down, but Sableye says no, reaches foul play number 2, forcing the opponent's final shield. We can now just send out Potato Head. The opponent literally can't do anything. Bubble Beam is the only way of hitting us for super effective. Opponent bait with the Aerial Ace, not the Play Trainer. They likely have Ice Beam as a second move, which is also resisted. The opponent that time throws the Ice Beam. We Rock Throw farm down. We send out Venusaur, and Quagman dies to 3 Vine Whips, and the win streak continues. Moving on to the next one. The absolute dream lead. Potato Head into Charger Bug. The opponent lightly pivot. They send out the silly electric fish, and we have the perfect counter in the form of our Shadow Venusaur. We was a bit slow on the response, so I think they're going to be free off the next surf. So if I was Boston, I'd throw free, throw the Frenzy Plant on the CMP tie. It looks like the opponent at least looking to build up to the Thunderbolt. We throw the Frenzy Plant, the opponent commit that Protect Shield. Oh, trainer, you are not flipping this matchup, I promise you. Boston matches shields, recognising we've got such positive alignment in the opening matchup. We want to keep that. Boston actually doesn't throw the next Frenzy Plant. Instead, he burns his final shield and then commits to the full Vine Whip farm down. If Charger Bug does return, they're not going to appreciate the sludges. The opponent actually reveals their third, which is Skarmory, and I think Potato Head is just going to carry the team to victory from here. Boston fires off the first double resisted Frenzy Plant. Skarmory is one of the few Pokemon that make Frenzy Plant look like a shit move. The opponent does have shield advantage, however they're going to have no real way of dealing with our Potato Head. Boston sends out Sableye, sacrificing it to the Pokegods. The opponent fires off the Brave Bird, which we survive. We then pivot into Probopass. The opponent let us get a huge energy lead and then pivot back out into Charge Bug. Rock Side, of course, will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Despite Probopass core breaking the remainder of the opponent's team, I think as soon as we pivot, if they would have pivoted back out into Charger Bug, they actually would have won this game. As you can see, 2 discharges would have been lethal, and they would have been able to outpace us if they wouldn't have given us an energy lead. However, the opponent gifting us a win, well, not really gift, it just is what it is. The opponent definitely could have won this game and brought Boston's win streak to an end. However, Boston takes a very close game. Moving on to the next one. Potato Head into Licky. Far too thicky. However, if Licky thinks it's thick, Probopass thinks it's even thicker. Lickitung is such a top tier meta threat because the Lick and Body Slam combination is very, very oppressive. However, in this matchup, the opponent's forced to go for non-stab Power Whips. Whereas we're hitting for neutral the entirety of the time with our Rock Throws and Rock Side combination. This is only a Body Slam, and you're going to see double resisted, it just doesn't do a lot. It looks like Probopass will win the 0 shield. Oof, we actually die at the move. That's rough. Licky, far too thicky, reminding us all why it's number 1 on PV Poke, as it's so fucking annoying. However, Boston can send out Sableye, get a huge double resisted Shadow Claw farm down and leave with residual energy. Good to go. The opponent thinking about what they want to send out, and the Annihilate definitely isn't that Mon. Holy, they must be weak. What the heck is in the back? Licky double fight is a thing. However, if they've got 2 fighting types, they definitely would have pivoted. So I'm really scratching my head. What the heck is in the back? Boston shields up the Ice Punch, recognising Sableye must be incredibly good if this is what they send out. Sableye forces both Protect Shields. The opponent then build up some energy and then send out Cresselia. And Cresselia is greeted with that foul play. Cresselia also thinks it's thick, but Shadow Sableye rocks it below half health. Then Boston makes an incredibly savage double resisted Grass Knot catch onto Venusaur. Venusaur can now just Vine Whip farm all the way down. Boston actually opts to throw the Frenzy Plant on the CMP tie. Either way, this game's just over. Annihilate's going to be forced to throw an Ice Punch at Venusaur. We see the instant no shield deployed. Boston going for the 1 shield flex, and why not? Back out comes Sableye. We reach the foul play. We hit no bubbles, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's. Moving on to the next battle. We lead Mr. Potato Head, aka Shadow Probopass, into Dragonair. We've seen this one play out before. A very nice matchup for Probopass. Again, this opponent staying in, and just look at the Rock Throw damage. The opponent even throwing an alignment, which is even worse for them. This season we're seeing Dragonair commonly paired with Skarmory, and this looks to be the case once again, as there's no other reason for this opponent to stay in this matchup. They no shield the Rock Side, send out Wish Daddy Cash, we pivot into Sableye, and just like magic, there's the Skarmory. If only the opponent knew what we had in the back, they'd definitely top left, because this game is just unwinnable. They don't even shield up the foul play, they're hoping that Wish Daddy Cash will sweep the back line. However, trainer, we've got something that's going to hit you for double super effective. We force a Protect Shield. Boston could match shields here, however it looks like he's just going to shield Potato Head if they make another charge move. Either way, pretty safe play. Boston looks for the Rock Throw farm down. Skarmory does make another charge move. We're going to shield up the resisted Sky Attack as Venusaur isn't going to be able to Vine Whip farm down. We Rock Throw farm down, send out Venusaur, and once again the opponent is going to top left. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we see Probopass into the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death. What a beautiful lead. The opponent safe switches into Annihilate, and this time we respond with Venusaur. I think Sableye, of course, is better in this matchup. However, Venusaur, of course, doesn't want to see Talonflame, so it looks like Boston just binning it off. We don't shield the Ice Sponge Return Fire with the Frenzy Plant, forcing a Protect Shield. I see what's coming, Boston. I see you, buddy. We're going to send out Sableye, Shadow Claw farm it down, and then Power Gem Talonflame. And this one's definitely landing, as there is no point in shielding up when they know we've got Probopass. Boston correctly shields at the Shadow Ball. We do get the Shadow Claw farm down, send out Talonflame. There it is. We full send the Power Gem. Hi, Talonflame. Bye, Talonflame. Get that Talonflame out of here. As excited as I am, this game certainly isn't over, as Swampert in the back is a problem. Boston makes a catch of the Hydro Cannon onto Probopass, but this is dangerous as the opponent can Mudshot farm us down. Luckily for us, the opponent does throw. However, if I was the opponent, I'd have Mudshot farmed all the way down. Non-Shadow Swampert easily survives a Rock Slide, and the win con for the opponent would have been just a double Hydro Cannon Sableye. However, the opponent didn't see that at the time. It's much easier for me sitting here, but I do like to give win cons as I see them. This is why I think it's so important to record your battles, as every battle that I lose that I'm recording, I always watch back and I look to see what I could have done differently to find a win con. So that opponent certainly had a win con, however they didn't execute it. Moving on to the next battle. We see a pretty good lead, however the drill run coverage will be double super effective. However, the opponent doesn't want to take the rock throw damage, they pivot out into Gliscor, one of my favourite Pokemon. However, is it as good as Gligar in the Great League? Not really, and the reason for that is Earthquake is so expensive compared to Dig. The opponent build up to a potential Earthquake. Boston, like a savage, calls the bait. Boston this time is going to commit a Protect Shield. The opponent just going straight Night Slash all the way. They get a boost, however no boost is going to save their fate. Probopass still Rock Throw farms down, and the opponent's actually running Gliscor and Gligar. Pretty cool team. And a very cool flex, I believe both this Gligar and Gliscor are shiny. Boston pivots out into Venusaur, sacrificing it to their Poke Gods. Aerial Ace, still Aerial Ass. Holy crap, Venusaur's so glassy. We actually survived that, which is pretty funny. Fire off the Frenzy Plant, forcing the opponent's final shield. We could come into either Pokemon here, so Boston actually chooses to send out Sableye. We do survive any one move, especially if the opponent wants to throw Aerial Asses. The opponent then send out Dugong. Unfortunately, one Power Gem isn't going to be lethal, so Boston throws the foul play, which will guarantee to put this thing into Rock Slide range. Boston pivots back out into Probopass. We attempt to throw the Rock Slide, however lose CMP. I think this is a pretty safe shield. The opponent full send the Drill Run. Good shield from Boston. Rock Slide going to secure the knockout. Even if Gligar makes a move, they're going to need to make a dig, and they're going to be so low that they're going to get Shadow Claw farmed down. The opponent does reach the dig, securing the knockout on Potato Head, but Sableye carries the team over the line. GG's, and thanks for playing. And we're around 23 or 24 minutes into the video, and Boston's win streak is at 15. We see the Nightmare lead. We pivot into Venusaur. The opponent probably try and force a Protect Shield with the Ice Punch and then pivot. Boston obliges, putting up that Protect Shield. The opponent actually choosing to stay in. They actually then pivot out into Wigglytuff. Oof, they must be so weak to Venusaur. Boston fires off the Frenzy Plant. The opponent thinks they've called a bait out of a trainer. You're just going to get Vine Whip farm down. Venusaur absolutely going off. Back out comes Medicham, and I think we're going to double Frenzy Plant. The first Frenzy Plant goes shielded. The opponent's going to be forced to double shield here, and they're going to be so sad when we show them Sableye. They do double shield. We pivot out into Sableye. The opponent is still going to be switch locked, so Boston can just get off as much Shadow Claw damage as possible until the opponent's timer pops up. The opponent's timer does pop up, and that is why they stayed in. Trainer, you're so weak to Venusaur. Lantern isn't going to appreciate this energy. You can see foul play does around 50%, a bit less actually. However, 2 foul plays and a couple of Shadow Claws will secure the knockout. The opponent actually reaches the Surf 1 HP and a Dream. Sableye has done its job. Boston actually choosing to counter Medicham with Probopass, and I love to see it. After Boston winning 15 straight games is out here having some fun and playing with confidence, we shield up in case the opponent's got Dynamic Punch. They actually opt to throw the double Ice Punch. However, the second Ice Punch will not be enough to knock out due to steel resistant ice, and Boston throws the BM Rock Slide. And guess what? Probopass is a Medicham counter confirmed. You heard it here first. Heading into the next battle, we see Potato Head into Guzzlord, a pretty nice lead as we do resist the Dragonair. Due to our steel typing, the opponent save switches into Tentacruel and we respond with Venusaur. I think an argument could be made that Sableye would have been the better counter swap, as Venusaur is taking neutral from all of this poison type damage, whereas Sableye would resist due to ghost resisting poison. The opponent is a degenerate running Acid Spray, which means flipping this matchup is going to be very difficult. Boston could shield up this move, look to force all shields down. That's exactly what we see happen. Boston shields up an Acid Spray, which is very painful, but probably worth it to try and flip switch or force a shield. The opponent just give up on switch advantage, send back out Guzzlord. We still have the correct alignment, so we send back out Potato Head. However, that crunch did hurt. However, we don't see a debuff. The opponent then send out Lantern, and here comes Sableye. Sableye Lantern is pretty neutral. However, the Shadow variant doesn't appreciate even a Surf. You can see Surf with the sparks already got us into the red. Boston farms up, throws the foul play. Foul play forces the opponent's final shield. Do we see Boston match shields here? Yes, we do. However, I don't think foul play is going to be enough to knock out. And if the opponent spark farms us down, we're in trouble. Boston fires off the foul play. Can the opponent get the spark farm down? Oof, yes they can. Boston sends back up Probopass, throws the Rock Slide. Rock Slide will be secure on the knockout. Back out comes Guzzlord. We're getting very close to crunch range. Can Potato Head survive the crunch? Come on, Potato Head. Please be thick. Oof. And unfortunately, the win streak comes to an end. GG's. Huge shout out to my favourite battler in the community, one of my moderators on Discord. If you want to join the Discord, it's linked down below. XBOSTON just showcases some ridiculous Shadow Spice. If that's your thing, definitely check us out. Boston managed to go on a 17 win streak with his team, gaining 450 ELO in 2 days. I think I actually only downloaded 16 battles. I think I missed one somewhere, so apologies for that. However, if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new. Consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. A link to our battle submission form is down below. And stay tuned because we're going to have all the new shadows coming very soon. Thanks for watching and I'll see you all in the next one.